Hey, everybody. I am Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. I'll tell you what, people, I am good at this YouTube thing. So I'm running about 4 minutes late. That's because today I played the old intro, right? Everybody on the lifeboat knows what I'm talking about, but I played the intro that tells you the rules of the boat and all kinds of other stuff. And sadly, I didn't hit play. So I was waiting for the end of this thing. And as soon as it went off and my face was back up, I was like, why does that say go live? Yeah, I'm just not very good at this YouTube stuff, sadly. But today, people, I met a lot of really great people. Met a lot of the new crew. I had a ton of people that reached out to me, and basically just fell right into the groove. People talking about some issues that they have, and bringing some concerns to the boat. People talking about wanting to reach out and grab 5 people and start to just, hello, snot face. I'm never going to get tired of that. I really am not. Never am I going to get tired of that. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to blow up. That's a really sweet thing to say, Scoob, and you're absolutely right. You are. See, look at all of the people welcoming you, snotface. Right? You will be popular around the boat. Everybody wants to say hi. So I also got a gaggle. If you look that up, a gaggle is, I think it's more than 30 and less than 200 or something like that. All right. A gaggle of emails from people who caught the show I did with Aaron over on the other channel. I do not want the lifeboat to turn into a prison channel. Kicked that around when I first got out of prison, and for sure it builds an audience a lot quicker. But I'll be really honest with you. I thought that the politics that went on in prison, I did that game because I had to do that game. But to be really honest with you, it makes me sick. Wharton Thistle, good to see you. Wharton, have you said hello to our friend Snotface? Because if you haven't, you really should. Just because it's fun to say hello to Snotface. So I never wanted to turn it into a. I'll be really honest, people. I'd like to forget prison. I own it. I did the things that put me there, but I wanted the channel to be exactly what it is now, or close to what it is now. I thought I would be doing videos. I didn't think I'd be doing these things live, and I didn't think I'd be talking to as many of you as I do. I love it. I'm not complaining. It's hey, Andy Paul, good to see you from the UK. But there are a lot of people that had a lot of questions, and if I sat and I went through every single question, Jeffrey Canali, you know what, man? My elbow is killing me because of you. Seriously, I've been having vicious elbow trouble because of Jeffrey Canali, and I've been loading up stuff to move to a new house that I bought, and for probably 2.5 weeks, my elbow has just been killing me. Every time it starts to hurt, I curse you, Jeffrey Canali. So I got all of these questions. There's no chance I'm going to answer all of them, and that makes me feel crappy, But it's been a long time. Joe 83. Hey, how cool is that? How cool is that? He says, I got blessed today with a job after I've been struggling to try to find one. God bless you. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Great news. Really, really great news. Hey, Miss Smokes, good to see you. Yeah, Joe, we're glad you're here. So, in the old days, there were times I'd get 100 emails in a day. And believe it or not, hi, Cindy Party. Believe it or not, I used to go after it. Like, I would try to answer them. There's absolutely no chance in hell that I can keep up with the emails that are coming in. The good thing is this: the vast majority of them are asking questions that they have something that they're curious about the prison thing. They have something that they're curious about me or the boat. When you find a new channel and you're like, you know what, I'm going to deep dive into this channel and I'm going to watch all the videos so that I can, sort of acclimate and I can learn all of the stuff about the channel and yada, yada. Okay. As I said the other day, if you turned the boat on and you watched every video, it would take you 39 days, 24 hours a day around the clock. Right. And that's not counting all of the new shows we'd be doing during that time. I am moving to Idaho in 3 weeks. Yeah. How's your elbow, jackwagon? Congratulations, man. I hope Idaho is a good move for you, brother. Hey, Smitty, good to see you. I knew Jeffrey Canali before and after. He's one of my few friends that I knew when I was a dirtbag and sort of rehabilitated, But Noise Opera, good to see you. Really happy you all are here. So with all of these emails, I started hitting back to most people and just saying, look, man, I'm going to do a Q&A thing, and I'm probably going to do it about once a week for the next, whatever, I'll do it once a week for the next couple of weeks until people sort of get up to speed. Rip Curl Readiness, my favorite people. Glad that you're here. Brandy, welcome back. Welcome back. That's awesome. Have a long talk with the governor and he commuted my sentence. Oh, there is no way. What's up? Oh man. I don't want to turn this into a lesson on I've prayed for a really long time for that to happen to my friend Jeffrey Canelli. I really have. He had a sentence that was supposed to follow him for a very long time, and he did everything right. And that sentence needed to be commuted, and apparently it is. Hey, man, I am so happy for you, Jeff. I am so happy for you. I'm still pissed about the elbow. I mean, don't get it messed up, but I'm really, really happy for you, man. That is awesome. Zenwen says, please remember to hit that thumbs up button, everybody. And you know what? Zenwen is a genius. So you should probably do what she says. Noise Opera asks, how is that rotten fish coming along? All right, people. So if you're new to the boat, I made a comment. I don't know why the hell I made this comment, but I made a comment that said when the boat hit 4,000, actually what I said was if the boat, hey, glad that you're here. Ms. Alexander, glad that you're here at the beginning. It's way better when you show up in the beginning. And I was stupid enough to say that if we were to hit 4,000 before the start of summer, right, that I would once again eat surströmming. And if you do not know what surströmming is, you can go into the, if you go into the videos on the lifeboat, you will see my brother Johnny and I eat. See Goosebumps on board with you. He thinks that's a good time to say. I've worked really hard this time to stay clean and sober, and I did it. I've had no cravings or triggers. Joe, I couldn't be any happier, man. And it's a testament, right? You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and things like jobs. Man, if you continue to do what you're supposed to do, opportunities will present themselves to you, and they will come one right after the other. You won't have to bust your chops like you used to. One of the things that I learned, and Jeffrey Canali can back me up on this thing, the easiest way to get a job in this country is to have a job. If you go to an interview and you say, look, I'm currently working, but I'm shopping this around. Really, how long have you been working? 6 months? But I'm trying to look for a better job. They just want to know that somebody's going to show up. They want to know that somebody's going to pass the drug screens. They want to know that they're not wasting their time. Capiche? So there really is, no glasses. Number one, my head is better. Thank you for all of the prayers, people. I have not, my migraine has been under control. My headaches have been under control for the last couple of days. And that is a beautiful thing. For all of the people that have been praying for me, thank you so much. And I'm sleeping pretty decent. Like I got a lot of really good stuff going on health-wise. However, these two puppies are not set up the way they used to be either. I kind of wish I could show you the lighting setup. So because of the fact that, I work with green screen, Goosebump says, well, you have the traditional Swedish accompaniments with surströmming. I have heard it helps to have potatoes, etc. on the side. No, to be really honest with you, bless you. Sorry. What we're going to be doing is something foul. In other words, the idea is not to make this stuff better. Thank you, Miss V. Appreciate you. Scoob, thank you. We're not trying to make Systroming better. We're trying to make Systroming worse. Like that makes a hell of a lot of sense, right? But we will probably mix it with Hakaro. I swear to you, I almost Ralph saying it. If you look up what Hakaro is, I don't even want to say it on the air, but if you look it up, it's another of the fermenting fish type of things, but it is fermenting in something that nothing should ever ferment in. Can you all pray for my boyfriend and our turtle? He's not sleeping. Sure we can. Absolutely we can. My son got a job today. I've been footing the bills and didn't go. Good, man. Good. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. Really glad to hear that. Yeah, the last time that my brother Johnny, or maybe it wasn't the last time, but Johnny did Hakaro, Systroming, and something else, and they made a smoothie out of it. I have no chance in hell I'm doing that. I'm not doing that. Like I got to draw the line. And here's the thing: like if we want to get super technical, there are a couple of places on planet Earth where it is not summer or it is summer already, right? And perhaps I didn't mean summer in the United States, right? It could have meant like summer somewhere else. Here's the deal. I'm going to vomit, right? You guys are, the price of admission basically is watching me vomit all over the place and watching my brother Johnny pick on me while that happens. If you missed the last video where I drank milk, it's not, I never tried to monetize this puppy because I literally had a very tough time with that. If you have a weak stomach, don't watch it. It is really, smoothies are easier to barf at half speed. That is funny. Stone Lux Jewelry. Here from Growing Up in Scientology, that interview was fantastic. That is because Aaron is really good at what he does. For real. And I'm not doing the humble thing or anything else. I'm not going to lie. I've sat through and done. I have sat through and done quite a few interviews in my time. He does it really well, and he makes it look effortless, and there's never any downtime. And when, sometimes when you transition from one subject to another in an interview, there's just sort of this awkward time when people who are sitting in front of a computer go, and then they go to the next YouTube, right? I mean, we all know that the average is about 3 or 4 minutes. So it's hard to keep somebody watching you for a very long time. And if there's that choppiness, that goes on during an interview, that simply won't happen. That will not happen. Oh, that's cool. He says, hey, Aaron mentioned me again today, Tommy. That's awesome. I will be watching him. I watch him every night. I rarely can catch him live, but I will absolutely be watching him tonight. So, and I'll tell you what, if you just want to be really honest, in this game, if somebody's got 160,000 subscribers and you would like to do a collaboration with somebody, you're going to aim for somebody that has 200,000. Like that's kind of how people do it, which is, I mean, I guess I understand the concept, but the fact that, he'd reach out to somebody that's got, or take somebody that's got 4,000 or just under 4,000 subs, less than a 2-year-old channel. What he did was it was amazing for the boat. You know what I mean? It brought a lot of excellent people in, and I do mean excellent people. We were really blessed because that audience that watches Aaron, they like live stuff, right? Which is very cool. They like the interaction in the comment section. They dig live, which is great because it's what we do. And there's always going to be a certain contingent of people in every audience who have beat or are yet to beat a drug problem. Makes perfect sense, right? There's a lot of people on this planet who have a drug problem. But that channel over there, he's very entertaining. He's excellent at what he does. But he's got a cause, right? He's pushing an agenda. There's something that he wants very, very badly. And that is to expose, what the where he has been, he would like to expose it as a cult that breaks up families. If you've ever watched him over there, he's very, very clear on that. And I think that's probably one of the reasons that the lifeboat sort of lines up pretty easy with Aaron and his channel, because we have a good time over here and we clown and we do all kinds of stuff. But there's a very serious message here. When we're clowning, it's usually because we've done, 15 or 16 pretty heavy duty shows in a row. And, every once in a while you got to do something fun or do something silly. And way back in the day when I wanted to hit 1,000 subscribers, because we wanted to go live and we wanted the opportunity to monetize, not for the cash, but so that we could help people, right? So that the boat would get pushed out farther. I did a show where I said, the only reason I'm doing this is because I want to help people get sober, but I will eat this disgusting fermenting fish. And if you read the can, right, it does not say fermented. It says fermenting. So inside the can, that stuff is still doing its business, right? And the amazing thing is, when you crack the top of it, like foul smelling, disgusting fluid flies all over the place, right? Hey, thank you, Joe. That is a really kind thing to say, man. I really do appreciate that. She's also on the bus. Nice. G says you're sick. Boy, there's a lot of truth to that. It's, what it is? It's not that I'm sick, man. This time of year, you could be talking about the fish, but this time of year where I live, the allergies are just horrendous. And there's no getting around them, especially if you're susceptible. And I most assuredly am susceptible. Check this out. There's always this, though. You know what I mean? Nothing is funnier than when he's the old green hanky is good for a laugh on a green screen. But yeah, my brother, I've been watching Aaron quite a bit today. He's good at what he does. You know what? He really is. And again, he just makes it look, really, really easy and effortless. And from the very first time you show up on that channel, it doesn't matter whether you care about these Carolina Reaper corn nugs. Got a nice bite. Chili Phil is doing the Carolina Reaper corn nugs. Are you eating the ones out of the tube? You eating the Tube of Terror 2.0 ones? Hot peppers do help allergies. There's no question. The only thing I got in the house that's really hot right now, I've got a couple of tinctures. In fact, I got Tommy Tank, right? Like I have the tincture that has my face on it, and I have I may have something from Tom Broom. I think I've got his lemon stuff here. Oh, you know what? I got some stuff in the refrigerator that Johnny gave me half of. Crocodile tears. That stuff will burn. I'm telling you, that's hotter than any single pepper that they put into it. That's one of those. But if you're talking about the corn nuts that are in the tube, that's one of the ruggedest things I've ever eaten in my life, man. They dry the mouth out. They're hard to get down. The only thing I have to tie to my house right now are a couple of packets of mild Taco Bell sauce. Oh, no. This sounds disgusting, and I'm here for it. I'll tell you what, Snotface, when we're done with this one, you can go over and watch the first Systroming, right? Systroming 1.0. You can watch it on this channel. It'll be a picture of me, like, I think I have my hands to my face. I will look, it's the only thumbnail where I look terrified, and I'm outside. That is, I'm not kidding you, that's one of the funniest videos probably on YouTube. It really is. And it's not the vomiting part. You never see us do it. We never do it in front of the camera. We honestly, the only reason we did the milk one in front of the camera is because there was absolutely no way we were going to pull off not doing it in front of the camera. I have an entire bag of dried Carolina Reapers. M. Hunt, do you dig it? Do you like the dried Carolina Reapers? I'll be honest with you, man. This is something about the texture of them I have a real problem with. Eat one of those salted apricots, Tommy. That'll clear out your nose and clear out. Yeah, exactly. It'll also clear me out of the office. Yes, watch the gallon of milk at half speed too. That's another one. Um, at least tell me you'll open the can underwater. No, I'll tell you what. Usually, what we do is we do paper, rock, scissors, right? And the person that loses is going to have to eat the stuff first, right? But they do get to open the can, and normally because it's Johnny, he's going to probably try to spray it in my direction, or I will try to. I infused them in the corner. Well, that sounds a hell of a lot better. It was fake strumming. I wish it were fake strumming. If you watch that video, you'll be. It sprays all over the place. It's pretty nasty. Hey, Tommy and everybody, good. Let's see who we got there. Yeah, thank you. Goosebumps says you're all nuts. You know what? Honestly, I swear to you, people, I'm taking one for the team. The stroming thing, the challenge things, all of them every time has just been, like what happened yesterday, right? I go over. There are a bunch of people that are going to watch that video. I'm already getting messages from people who are calling me an effing thug and an effing this and an effing that. You're going to take a little abuse, right? Well, you're going to take a little abuse when you vomit up fish. But I knew if I went over there and I talked about prison life, that there's no way I don't. I mean, I was there, right? There's no way to make it look like, well, I'm better than all of that. But let me tell you what went on in there. It's just so. But when we were talking about doing it, I thought, you know what? There's not much I wouldn't do to get more sober people or more people who need to get sober on the lifeboat. Literally, that's my drug of choice, right? Helping people that I have met, through the lifeboat get sober is my drug of choice. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I know it doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But all I can tell you is this, and maybe this will make sense to you, and maybe it won't. But yeah, people are, but something, Goosebumps, if you knew how often people, here's the thing. This channel brings out the worst in a lot of people. And I do shake it off. But death threats and all kinds of other stuff. That's just part of doing business. It's no big deal. You own your own sobriety, Tommy. Yeah, I do. And look, the things I did in my past are the things I did in my past, and I have always been very open and very honest about them. Normal. What's that? Yes, it is. I thought your interview about what Danny Masters you can expect in prison was the most informative of the lot. Well, thank you. But I did that because I thought, here's a shot to bring in a lot more people to try to get more people sober. Empath Ninja. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Love that name. You know what, Goosebump? Here's the thing. I wouldn't blame that on his crowd. I guarantee you that a lot of those people were coming there because they're blocked here. You follow me? Like there are people that would have a shot at getting to me through another platform. The number of people we've had to block here. What's really crazy is this is one of the things that created the biggest drama back in the day, right? The biggest drama was created because I believe, and now it's not even a debate, it's proven that addiction is a disease, right? It can be tested, right? It has symptoms, it is a disease. And there is no one left on this planet that argues it. The medical community has said, well, finally, we have a test. We can show the difference between, if you show me 5 brain scans, right? A doctor will come in and go, that guy right there is a drug addict. That girl right there is a drug addict by looking at the brain scan, right? That had always been the one thing that they said, well, if you can't test for it, it's not a disease. According to Hoyle, right? Like the actual rules, a disease you have to be able to test for it. Because if not, anybody can say they have anything, right? That to be officially listed as I love that line. I'm sorry. Snotface, remember, coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. Booyah. I have always loved that comment. Now, here's some other things. If you're brand new to the boat, please check out my co-captain of sorts. We really need a better name for because honestly, Mark's the co-captain. I'm glad I found this family. Not a channel, a family. Alf, we're glad you're here, man. We really are. So Mark is always like, Mark will be the co-captain until the end of time. Abby Normal. Great movie reference. I should not have taken that power nap. I'm going to the gym after this. That's a great movie reference. It really is. Mark Wages does rock. I love Mark. But Heather Joy puts in a hell of a lot of work on the lifeboat. And if you haven't seen some of Heather's stuff, you really need to check it out. Heather's more intelligent than I am, right? And far more intelligent in her delivery. SPTV crowd, let's see. SPTV crowd isn't terrible like that. They're much better than that. I agree with you, Snotface. They have been the nicest people that I've come across. No doubt. I'm not kidding. But if you're a big channel, right, 30 or 40% of your views are going to come from people who are not subscribers. They're going to come from people who aren't leaving comments. There are people who really groove to just being nasty. I wouldn't say she's more intelligent, but definitely better looking. Well, there's that too. No question. Let me make it wildly clear. There's no way I want misquoted or any of that. It is not his audience. It's just people that watch that video. I promise you it's not his audience. You guys are his audience. It has really been some of the nicest people, and it makes perfect sense to me that it's a very similar vibe, right? The lifeboat. We have a lot of fun. We clown. We do what we do. But the subject matter is pretty serious. 300 people rather a day are dying of drug overdoses in our country, and no one's doing anything about it, right? This is the most dangerous time in history to be doing drugs anywhere. But in this country, it doesn't matter what drugs you're doing, they're cut with fentanyl. So we have a pretty heavy undertone. We have God, I am sweating like there's no tomorrow. Sorry, people. The lights are not helping. The lights are not helping. Oh, sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have done two of these in a row. No, he's right, Heather. You're definitely the better looking of the two of us. Yeah, I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. All I said was I got some really ugly messages after doing the video. It's got nothing to do with his audience. I assure you, nothing to do with it. And that's standard operating procedure. If you have a YouTube channel, I don't care whether you have 70 people or you have 70,000 people. You're always going to have people who hide behind computers and say really ugly things. I'm active with several channels that prioritize supportiveness and being non-judgmental. Very cool. Very cool. I love it. Most in the low tube court watching community. LMK, if anyone wants records. You know what? I dig the entire concept. Non-judgmental is huge, right? I do a decent amount of one of the things that I am sweat's good at detoxes. You sound and look better. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, you get haters. You absolutely get haters. My experience has been this, that I've never, there are trolls that we've gotten to know pretty well, and trolls are failed content creators for the most part. That's really what it is. And they tend to just kind of be angry. Yeah, Todd, I literally have had them since the channel started. Thanks, Miss V. This is nothing new. This is absolutely nothing new. Alf, I have been doing the Navage. That is the most annoying part of this entire deal. I've done 2 of them today. And now I could take, over the counter medicine because I'm not having to deal with drug tests and probation anymore. But there's just nothing really that gives you any relief. This is going to blow over in about a week. this is the time of year, but it's brutal. And I'm going to be very, very happy when I'm no longer in this climate. One of the reasons I'm moving to where I'm moving is because it's supposed to be a lot easier on that type of thing. Yeah, here's the deal. I know everybody loves it when I say that. Here's the deal. When we're doing a serious show, when we're here and we're talking about serious stuff, there are going to be people that pop up into the chat who are going to say, hey, I'm really struggling. And we've had people say things in the live chat. We've had people come on for interviews who talked about being having really rough childhoods, or being the victim of an S, right? Of things you can't say on YouTube. But people who have survived very serious trauma will come on here and talk about it. And we owe it to those people to have a crap load of wrenches around, because there are some really sick people in the world. There are people in the world who are cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. Thank you, ZW. Love Zenline. And ZW is in Arizona. I'm going to be, inside of 2 weeks, I'm going to be there. So far, no trolls. Rarely do I get a thumbs down. Miss Dragon, how could you get a troll? You know what I mean? You're really good at what you do, and you're super kind. I'm an annoying cat to look at. It's just completely different. Emily D. Baker. Emily is a very funny, lively, smart ex-prosecutor. Oh, now a full-time YouTuber. Oh, you know what? That one I know, okay? That one I've been across, Goosebumps, and it is good. I dig the law stuff. I hate to say this out loud. My last wife was an attorney, and I dug it. I dig the law thing. I really do. And guilty pleasures. So I get down the rabbit hole. One of the only things that I can watch, I can't watch anything. So if you're new to the boat, I can't watch anything that's edited. The problems I have with my dome. If I watch something and it's going like this from one clip of film to the next, I'll have a migraine in a matter of minutes. So what I can watch is things like interrogation videos, because it's one camera, right? Never moves. No, I have not gotten my papers signed. Isn't that something? But I went down to talk to my PO about it, and I said, hey, what's going on? And he just said, I said, I really got to go to the bathroom. If you want a drug test now, it'd be a really good time. And he said, dude, as far as I'm concerned, you're not on probation. We're just waiting on the signature. But, this judge is like 130 years old. I shouldn't say that just in case he's watching, but we did tell him about the lifeboat. But he's not a young guy. He is the senior federal judge on the bench here, so he could stick around forever. Well, tell me when you get to Tucson. I'll take you to the first place where somebody allegedly dropped a burrito into a deep fryer, and they called it a chimichanga. There must be like some kind of shrine built at this place, right? There's like a big, huge plaque or something. Yes, for newbies, when we use the caps, we're not yelling. We're making it easier for Cap to read. Thank you, Miss Dragon. I should have said that. Sometimes I struggle with with reading. He's a Southern gentleman, very compassionate, shows court hearings, often on the line between family law and... Oh, I will have to check that out. He was 92 days ago. Well, yeah, that's the guy that, the senior on the bench, that probably is pretty close to where he's at, unless Monk really looked that up. But we're talking about one of the oldest cats. When he sentenced me the first time, I thought, there's no way I will ever see this cat again, no matter what. You know what I mean? He said that when he sentenced me for the bank robberies, he said, I hope I never see you again in my courtroom. And I thought, yeah, you got to live to like 120 to see me again in your courtroom. But I did show up in front of him again. Dreading is a great JCS-like channel. Isn't it sad that we have to say JCS-like channel? For full interviews and interrogations with occasional commentary. Ms. Alexander, you dig the interrogations. Yeah, that's just something I really, really groove to. I don't know why, Maybe it's because it doesn't give me a headache, but I also like I guess the cat and mouse aspect of it. I like looking at the guy and looking for body language and things. But yeah, I'm glad that you're doing better today, Heather Joy. I agree with you 100%. Goosebump says, I love JCS. Yeah, I do too. Just never should have. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, Heather, we're glad you're not in pain today. That's a really good thing. That really, really is a good thing. So, if anyone has any other questions, I would really love to get them answered. To the next time I come on here, we'll probably be getting back into the lifeboat proper. Kind of wanted to give a chance for new people. If you get like 500 people in a day and a half, it's probably good to do a few videos to sort of help people get acclimated and help people kind of meet the hosts. I would absolutely suggest that you catch some of Heather's videos as well and get an opportunity to meet Heather. But we're going to get back to business as usual, which is talking about drugs and everything we talk about is in one way or another related to drugs or recovery. Right? Sometimes we try to avoid politics. There are times you can't. There are times I have to talk about politics because of things that are happening on the border. I'm writing a book about hurricanes and tornadoes. It's only a draft at the moment. But it is cool to see all these new people, isn't it? And they're instantly just crew. When you get the right people, there's no break-in period. It's instant. Spidey is a magician, mentalist, hypnotherapist, and body language analyst. That is one of the most unbelievable resumes I've ever heard. Seriously. A magician, a mentalist, a hypnotherapist, and a body language analyst. Wow. That's a busy cat. I mean, it's not like one of those is, I like gardening. Like these are heavy duty stuff that requires a whole lot of education. This man's been busy. Wicked busy. Wow. Alf says, I believe the government is putting fent in legal cannabis because the C plus math didn't thin the herd enough. You know what? This is going to sound incredible, but you're not the first person that I've heard say that. Goosebump says, all of my recommendations are politics free. Pretty good idea. And here's the deal. I really do want to avoid politics. The problem becomes there are bills that come up in Congress that directly affect every single thing we talk about here. And on those occasions, or if, currently we've got new drugs that are on the street right now in this country. And if you're not hip to some of the things that are going on, trank, dope, xylazine, right, nitazines, there's a bunch of brand new drugs that are on the street right now. And one of the things that we feel we're probably most responsible for here is to try to educate people, because the backbone of everything we do is that the opposite of addiction is connection, right? If you connect with people who are sober, and you can count on those people, you can lean on those people. If you are spending time interacting with human beings instead of sitting in a room and thinking about your problems, there's a really good chance you're going to stay sober, right? So on top of that, the education of people saying to them, look, I don't care if you think you're doing blow. I don't care if you think you're doing meth. I don't care what you think you're doing. They're putting fent in everything. It's super cheap to make, right? Ridiculously cheap to make. And you cut just a little bit into whatever it is you're doing, and you're going to make it more desirable, and you're probably going to get people who are going to come back. There is very serious euphoric effects with fentanyl. They're very short acting. They don't last very long. But there's this super kind of euphoria thing in smaller quantities. You're not going to do the nod out and all that. The trouble is, how do you take a small amount of powdered fent, throw it into a big bag of whatever it is you're duffing, and then shake it up. It's never going to work, right? It doesn't matter how like when you press it into pills, you'll get one pill will end up with 6 milligrams of fent in it, right? That's a death sentence. Anything over 2 is. And somebody has got to tell people about this. And we suggest that if you can learn it here, you can take and teach it to other people. Full of hope. It says new member. Full of Hope's been here a really, really long time. And we're glad that you're here, Full of Hope. Yep. You know what? That's a very nice thing to say. I just got a really cool seat. That's what's really, this is I got a nice seat, but I'm just a crew member on the boat. And that really is the truth. Everyone rows the same way or gets thrown overboard. We do. China made them both. You're absolutely right. And currently, that's a subject that people don't want to hear you say out loud, right? They're especially the big red button, right? The platform that we're on right now will demonetize the hell out of this video if I say the truth, which is that fent comes from China. I'm not that worried about the monetization, but that's the truth, and you kind of have to say that from time to time. I am the noisemaker. Taji Zenwen, Mr. Ray. Rick, it's good to have you here. Really good to have you here. You were a raccoon for Halloween? You know that you want an expert on all things raccoon. My man, I am the noise opera. No one knows more about raccoons. Brandy, I'm so glad you're back. People, if you didn't get to meet Brandy yesterday, Brandy is moving into this line of work. She is currently studying to go into to be a frontline soldier on the war on drugs, right? Fighting for the good guys. She's going to work with people and try to help them get sober. And there are not enough people who do that. And there are especially not enough good people who do that. And I am of the firm belief that if you've been there and done that, you got a much better chance of connecting with people. Tried an Adam Ant ice cream yesterday. It was nothing special, just a standard vanilla. Adam Ant. Goody two shoes. Goody two shoes. Boy, you date yourself with that, don't you? Yeah, that making meth in an apartment is a bad idea anyway. The lifeboat questions as a newbie. You mentioned using the same 3 to 4 steps to stay sober. Details. Okay. As far as the steps go, when I met my mentor, he asked me to do 3 things, right? This was, and keep in mind, at this point, I'm getting high every day. I'm incarcerated in the things that I'm doing to get the dope. Like I'm not a good person in there, I'm threatening people that are smaller than me, who owe money or whatever. And then that's kind of, I was being a dirtbag. So I meet this cat and he said, you're one of the most intelligent, stupid people I've ever met. Or he might've said, you're one of the stupidest, intelligent people I've ever met. I don't remember. But he said to me, I'm only going to ask you to do 3 things. And I said, all right. He said, first of all, I want you to make a list of all of the people and all of the things that you want to get sober for. Why do you want to be sober? Make me a list of why you want to be sober. And I still have the list, right? I did this in a journal, so I still have the list. And I didn't want my dad to die when I was in prison, right? His health was not good. That was the first thing I wrote on the list. And then I wrote my son and my daughter, right? I don't want their dad in prison. And I know if I do dope, I'm going to be back in prison. And I just started writing all of these things. And when I got to the very last part, I wasn't on it. It had nothing to do with my health. It had nothing to do with, and what do they tell you in rehabilitation? You can't do it for somebody else. If you're not going to do it for yourself, it's not going to happen. Well, I got news for you. That's horseshit. Patootie. And here's why we say that. Because the day that you must make the decision to stop, you don't care enough about yourself to quit. You don't. I mean, there's desperation, there's all kinds of other things, but it's very difficult to love yourself when you're sticking a needle in your arm 4 times a day. But all of the people on that paper I loved, and all of the people on that paper had stood by me. And I thought, I'm going to do it for them. Now, you're not going to stay sober. In what ways are addicts' brains different? Okay, well, the second step was this. The second step, I made a list of exactly all of my attributes. What he said was, if the 4 people who knew you best were to tell us the dead honest truth about you, what would they write down? And I wrote liar, thief, all the things that somebody being honest would say. And then the third page, he said, now, go write what you wish they would have said. Design the new you. And that's exactly what I did. In what way are addicts' brains different? Okay, so, well, they're in a couple of ways, but the way that they can test it is it's just there's far more activity in one part of the brain and far less in the other. And they're always the same. And I wish I had notes with me here because I can't remember the names of the parts of the brain, but that is how you can test it. But the way that addicts' brains are different is this. The reward system in the brain, which is designed to make sure that we continue to procreate and we do intelligent things, right? So you get a feel-good chemical. You get a reward when you eat a good meal. You get a reward when you work hard and you feel like you achieved something. Fire does the exact same thing, right? You create a bonfire, you're going to get that feeling. When a doctor hands you your child for the first time, the amount of feel-good chemical that is going to come out, because think of what would happen if there was no bonding at all. You'd be like, good Lord, listen to this thing, right? It's screaming, it's yelling, and it smells bad. Get rid of this, right? But there is so much chemical that is dumped out on you at once that there is instant bonding and love that will never be broken for you and that child. In the drug addict's mind, the reward center of the brain, the one that should be doing everything I just told you, will do the exact same thing when they get a bag of dope in their hand before they ever get high. If your drug of choice was alcohol, right? So when liquor touches your lips, people already start feeling better. They chill out, they sit down. Heroin addicts, ready to fix, freaking out. They get the bag in their hand and they're like, yeah, we can drive home. It'll only take me about 15 minutes. Because before you ever even fix, your brain is sending good, feel-good chemicals. So Tommy, I just lost my brother in February. He died from methadone. Can you enlighten me on that drug and maybe get me some knowledge of it? Jason, that's a horrendous thing. And methadone, right, which is called Doluphene. Methadone is a substance that was designed as a painkiller. And it's a very inexpensive painkiller. It has the longest half-life of anything you're ever going to do. How long does it take for half of the drug that you just ingested to get out of your system, right? And, with some drugs, it'd be 12, 24 hours, whatever, and in 72 hours, almost every drug is out of your system, except for weed and a couple of other ones. But 72 hours is usually how long it takes for things to get out of your system. Methadone takes a ridiculously long time to process through. And the idea is if you keep taking it and keep taking it and keep taking it, you're building up a huge amount in your body. Then as you start to taper off, if you drop off 5 milligrams, you got all of this dope from a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It's building up in the body. That's the theory. The trouble is this. It is a ridiculously strong painkiller. It has very little effect if you are a dyed-in-the-wool opiate addict, right? And if you go to a clinic, they're going to give you a very small dose. They're going to take you up in a regulated way. But if a regular Joe person, right, just anybody on the street, and they've never gotten, they didn't have a problem with opiates, or occasionally they took some Loratab, and they got a friend that's got a bottle at 80 milligrams, and he sees his friend wolf that back all the time. I could take 300 milligrams. But somebody that has never had a drug problem, 40 will probably kill him. It's a very, very strong drug. And especially for individuals who, that do not have a pre-existing problem. The steps are: make a list of all of the people or things. Write down why you want to get sober, right? Number 2, if 4 people who knew everything about you could write down all of your characteristics, tell me about Dennis, what would they say? Knowing you're never going to hear it and everything else, just pure honesty. What would they say about you? And when I went back to him, I went back in like 3 minutes and I'm like, here. He's like, you think you're done? No, man. I mean, everything. Every single attribute, every single thing that they would know, man, you better write more than this. But when I was at my lowest, when I was done writing that, I wanted to check out. I'm realizing what a scumbag I am. What would people really say? And then he said, now go back there and create the new you. And do it by saying, what do you wish people would say? Hey, you know Tommy Scoville? Hell yeah. That dude will give you the shirt off his back. That's what I want people to say. He helps people. He's got no reason to, but he helps people. If he says he's going to do something on Tuesday, he does it on Tuesday. And he doesn't lie to anybody, right? This is the kind of stuff. And I had an opportunity to remake me. And that is what I did. Jason, I am so sorry for the loss of your brother. I really am. And if you don't really want to give me more details, I respect that. But here's the deal. I am wondering, you know, did he have a problem with opiates? Was he going to a clinic? If you're willing to tell me a little bit more about that, Jason, I would be curious. It is for people who are on, if you're going to a methadone clinic, it's a really difficult concept to see somebody overdose and die on that. Now, if you're not, and that's not your drug, but you just choose it, Snotface says, I have a raccoon. His name is Milo. Oh boy, are you going to get along with noise opera? You have a pet raccoon. Oh, are you going to get along with noise opera? What are the odds that we got two people here that have pet raccoons? Jason P., you're with friends here. Feel free to talk about it, says Chili Phil. Now, if you're questioning, do I think it's a good treatment? I mean, if you ask me more specifically what you want to know about it, I will answer. I have opinions on it. Anything that can get anybody off of heroin, or more importantly these days, Suboxone, right? I'm a fan of. Now, that said, it didn't work for me. It didn't. And the reason it didn't work for me is I could do other dope while I was on methadone. It wasn't the kind of thing where, all right, now I can't do anything other than this, right? So I could do a little heroin, and, you know, and as long as I kept my dose under 80 milligrams, at 80 milligrams, you're not going to feel the heroin, but keep your dose at 75 and you get high when you want to, and you're not going to get sick on the other days. And it just, for me, I didn't get out of the life. If you're talking about it in terms of people who are trying to get off of opiates, then send me an email and I will walk you through how to get off opiates, because currently there are ways that are 500 times better than that. There is some amazing, amazing technologies out there. Just really, really great ways to, hold on. Chili needs to yell at me. Yeah, if you any questions at all, man, just reach out to me. People will do more for others than they will do for themselves. There's a lot of truth to that, Jeffrey. There's a lot of truth to that. Todd G, I love that. I love that. I really do. I absolutely dig that. Choo choo Twain. All right, sorry. I'm glad I tuned in to the cops. My life would not be. Yeah, you made a good decision. You really made a good decision. AKA Heather Joy says, Jason P., I will tell you everything I can about methadone in my live stream here in the morning. Excellent. She knows a tremendous amount about methadone and has an excellent delivery. She's far more concise than I am. I'm all over the map. Heather is the more organized of the two of us, to be sure. AKA Heather Joy doesn't realize that she knows Jeff Canale, but I told you all about him while you were here. Remember, I was having problems with my elbow, and I said, yeah, my friend did this to me. That's the Jeffrey I was talking about. Yeah, he destroyed my elbow permanently. It doesn't pay crap except gratitude. You know what? Gratitude is a hell of a paycheck. It really is. Some of the greatest things in life that you get paid in, you don't get paid in cash. You might spend 3 hours talking to somebody, and the people that know you will say, you know what, was that time well spent? Yeah, you damn right it was. Right? People don't get it, but the people who do, the people that understand what connection is versus addiction, and people who understand that addicts inside of every single one of them is the best version of themselves, just waiting to try to get out. And I think we owe it to every one of those people to at least give it a try, right? To try to help them. I believe, but everybody's got their own rights, right? Yeah. My brother's level was 244 milliliters per nanogram, whatever that means. Your brother did a pretty heavy dose. Yeah, that's an awful lot, right? So, wow. If you have any more info, email it to me. So. Was he going to a clinic, Jason P? Because that's the kind of level that you would have in your body if you were building it up with something else. Now, I'll tell you this: there have been cases of people that. So you got all of this stuff in your body, right? And there are cases where there are certain drugs that people would do that would flood all of that methadone that has sort of been building up in the body, that basically gets it into the bloodstream faster, and it has caused overdoses. That's a real thing, and that can happen. It's one of the reasons they tell you that you shouldn't inject methamphetamines if you're doing a lot of methadone. Okay. Positive things and negative things, to be sure. And that's every medical assisted treatment. There are going to be positives and negatives. As of yet, there's no magic bullet. Thanks, Monk, and everyone. Tommy, thank you for the info. I was basically wondering if he suffered. No. If that's what you're wondering, my friend, absolutely not. And I'm not saying that to make you feel good. He did not suffer. The most pleasant way to die on planet Earth is with an opiate. Promise you. Here's why. So when you hear respiratory depressant, you think the person's freaking out and trying to breathe, and that's not what happens. It relaxes the body so much that when they go to take the breath and they're not breathing, if they were freaking out, they would wake themselves up. That reflex that you hear when people are suffering with sleep apnea, you'd hear that where they clear the back of their throat. With people who overdose on opiates, they are so relaxed that for all intents and purposes, they go to sleep and they never wake up. That's it. And they go to sleep in the nod, right? If you're overdosing, it's because there's so much to the receptors and I'm not trying to trigger anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody look back to the days, but I'll tell you something. I've done just about every drug on the planet. And as far as pleasant in terms of feeling, the nod pretty much has everything beat. Right? It's just a very warm feeling. I've heard addicts say it's like the entire world giving you a hug. I've heard people use some very flowery terms to describe it. But the bottom line is, I promise you, he did not feel any pain. He was a war vet, 35 years. I'm sorry to hear that we didn't do better for a war vet. He was on a lot of painkillers and suffered PTSD. You know what? It's... drank a lot, yeah. Well, that's Alcohol mixed with methadone is a dangerous combination. And to hear that he was on a lot of painkillers um, and on methadone, it's I hear horror stories very often from people who came back where they're just giving them the kitchen sink, every single thing they got going, and it scares the hell out of me. Had fractured in his sling from the army. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Good call. Good call. Get some ones. That's for you, my friend. I know that's got to be tough. I honestly cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. But my thoughts and prayers are with you, brother. The one thing I can tell you, though, I'm not saying that to make you feel good. That's, there has been talk. Thank you, Heather Joy. There has been talk over the years of them switching death penalty drugs instead of using the cocktail that they're using now. Doctors are forever saying, if you really want to make this humane, just give them a fat shot of morphine. Let them go out that way. It's comfortable as everything. I truly believe that the reason they don't do that is because they want these people to hurt. I mean, I can't think of any other reason. If you wanted to humanely take care of business, the opiate way is by far the easiest way to go. Jen Miller, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Mitch, good to see you. Dilrod, glad that you're here. People, that brings us up to, well, I ran a little late. But for those of you who are new, let me show you why you stick around till the end here on the lifeboat. Because when we first started this channel, we made two promises, right? And there were two things. You know what's coming, crew. There are two things that we promised, and neither one more important than the other. We promised that we would make sure that we didn't judge anybody ever here on the boat. There will never be any judgment. And there will always be a cat in the basket. All right? I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and this is A Cat in the Basket. Good night, everybody. We love you. Well done, squirrel. Glad you're back in the saddle, you temperamental little cat. You're a good kitty.